Imagine you're in the heart of World War II. Fear is lurking around every corner, and you're in the constant threat of falling into the hands of your enemies. As a woman soldier, execution. Today, at Past Perspectives, we bring you face to face with the stark realities these brave women had to endure. These stories are tough, they are heart-wrenching, but they remind us of the strength and courage these women displayed. So stick around till the end as we journey together through these deeply touching chapters of World War II history, paying tribute to these fearless females. As the Second World War tore across the globe, an often unsung force joined the ranks to defend their countries, their families, and their way of life. That force was the indomitable spirit of women whose roles on the battleground were as diverse as they were crucial. For example, the deadly and precise female snipers of the Soviet Union, like Lyudmila Pavlichenko, known as Lady Death. With a staggering 309 confirmed kills, Pavlichenko's story shows us the potent kills in the cockpit were unparalleled, and so was the peril they faced upon falling into enemy hands. Among the blood and chaos of the battlefield, female medics and nurses performed miracles every day, saving countless lives, often at the cost of their own safety. In the Pacific, 2nd Lieutenant Reba Z. Whittle served as a flight nurse, healing wounded soldiers while defying the dangers of war. Her courage shone brightly, even when she became the only American nurse to be a prisoner of war, but I'm going to tell you more about her later on. Each of these roles, whether on the front lines or behind, carried the risk of capture. And for many women, this fear became a chilling reality under the brutal regime of the Nazis. The horrifying treatment meted out to these captured women soldiers was a stark contrast to the respect they deserved for their immense contributions and sacrifices. Their participation was not only a testament to their courage, but also a spark that ignited a surprising and at times shocking series of encounters. Now, as you might have thought, women participating in the war, especially in the front lines, caused a lot of surprising encounters and shocked the Nazis that were following outdated perceptions. See, Germans at that time were raised in a society that rigidly defined roles based on gender, and the sight of armed women in uniform challenged their deep-seated beliefs. To them, warfare was a man's game, a deadly dance in which only men were supposed to participate. But the reality was different, and it was waiting for them on the Eastern Front. Women had joined the ranks of soldiers and resistance fighters ready to defend their motherland. They wore the same uniforms, shouldered the same rifles, braved the same conditions, and faced the same enemy as their male counterparts. Each bullet they fired, every step they took, and every life they saved was a loud and clear rebuttal to the stereotypes the Nazis held. This contrast emerged from the fundamentally different societal norms between the Soviet Union and Nazi soldiers to execute captured women soldiers. A cruel decision, issued not by SS or the Gestapo, but by field commanders. Those that haven't been executed immediately have been taken prisoner and got deported. Before we continue, I want to give you a quick disclaimer because I'm about to tell you the brutal fates these women faced, but please let's remember their extraordinary courage and resilience. Seeing your mates get executed on the battlefield was shocking enough. However, nothing could prepare these brave women for what would come next. Stepping into the shadowy world of Nazi captivity was like crossing into a realm of unimaginable horror. So what did it even mean to be a female prisoner of war in Nazi hands? For those unfortunate enough to find out, it turned out to be a test of will, courage, and resilience. These blood-freezing stories of these women provide a heart-wrenching glimpse into the heart of darkness, an abysmal realm where humanity was often abandoned. From the moment they were taken captive, female soldiers were subject to brutal treatment. Field Marshal Gunther von Kluge's notorious order issued in June 1941 meant these women faced a dire fate: immediate execution upon capture. But for those who miraculously survived, a life of torment awaited in the concentration camps. The moment these women stepped into the concentration camps, they entered a realm where human dignity was completely stripped away. They were herded like cattle, devoid of names, reduced to mere numbers tattooed onto their skin. Every day in these camps was a battle for survival. As prisoners, they were subjected to excruciating hard labor, forced to work under grueling conditions, sometimes to the point of death. Whether in quarries, munitions factories, or other forced labor sites, they faced unrelenting hardship. But labor was just one aspect of the torment. They also lived under the constant threat of arbitrary cruelty and punishment from their captors. Beatings, public humiliations, and other forms of abuse were all too common. One aspect of life in concentration camps that is often overlooked is the rampant sexual violence. These women, already stripped of their freedom, were also subjected to unthinkable sexual abuse. Rape and sexual exploitation were used as tools of domination and control, further degrading and dehumanizing these women. Food was often scarce and barely edible, making malnutrition a grim reality. Starvation diets were a common tool of control, and many succumbed to this slow, painful form of demise. Sanitation in the camps was horrendous. Diseases like typhus, tuberculosis, and dysentery were rampant and deadly. Prisoners lived in constant filth and squalor, adding to their torment. Amidst this horrific reality, there were glimmers of humanity and resilience. Women found ways to resist their captors and maintain their dignity. They created secret education programs, smuggling in and sharing books to keep their minds active. They risked punishment to care for the sick and the weak. They whispered words of comfort to each other in the dark, nurturing hope when there seemed to be none. Let me tell you, the cruelty wasn't limited to physical torture. She was ultimately freed. Her strength and intelligence stand as a testament to the spirit of these brave women. Equally inspiring was the story of Noor Inayat Khan, a British Special Operations Executive Agent. Known as Nora Baker, she served under the codename Madeline, working as a radio operator in France. When captured in 1943, she endured months of solitary confinement, frequently subjected to interrogations and torture by the Gestapo. Khan was unyielding, not revealing a shred of information despite her captors' ruthless attempts. This daughter of an Indian Sufi master and an American mother exhibited immense courage till her end, ultimately executed at Dachau concentration camp. Even in the face of death, she reportedly cried out, "Liberté," a fitting testament to her unwavering spirit. Khan's story resonates across generations, and she stands as an enduring symbol of defiance against totalitarianism. And the last tale I want to tell you about is about Reba Whittle. She was the only American woman to become a prisoner of war. In September 1944, while on a medical evacuation mission, her plane strayed off course, flying 40 miles into enemy territory. German flak fire riddled the aircraft, forcing it to crash land. Among the survivors was Whittle, who found herself captured, injured, and in the hands of the Nazis. Instead of executing or tormenting her, the Germans put Whittle's nursing skills to use. She was assigned nursing duties, tending to the sick and injured in the same prisoner of war camp where she was held captive. Ironically, it was her dedication to saving lives that saved her own in this dire situation. After several months in captivity, Reba's ordeal came to an end. The International Red Cross, upon discovering her predicament, worked tirelessly to negotiate her release, and in January 1945, Whittle was finally repatriated. Unfortunately, these have been very rare situations, as most of these brave women that have been captured by the Nazis never made it out alive, and even if they made it, their life would never be the same. As we close, let's honor their sacrifice and ensure their stories remain a part of our collective memory, a stark reminder of the human capacity for